How's it going, everybody? I saw on some of my videos, people are asking for the full PCSX2 setup for it's a PS2 emulator for Windows. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you how to do all this. So you're going to want to go to our wiki page and go. I'm going to show you how to set up just like the free roam. There are newer versions of the emulator, but the setup is going to be identical. So go to free roam overview. This will give you a little explanation of what how we're able to do this. But you're going to want to go down, download this. There is save states for an older version also, but I'm going to use the Corsten ones because that's like that's the original one. So go over here and download the PS2 emulator. This is going to tell me that it's not safe and I should discard it, but don't worry about that. It does this for all of the versions of PCSX2 for some reason. So keep it, show it in the folder or whatever. I did this one time, so I've already got the file in here. But you're either going to want to, if you have 7-zip or WinRAR, you can extract it with that. But I made this, I compressed it with Windows, so you can actually just hit extract all, and any version of Windows should be able to do that. Yep, then show your extracted files. And here you go. Here's your PCSX2 0.9.7 folder. This will have everything that you need to run the emulator right in this folder, and it's like it's a portable sort of folder, so it doesn't need to even be installed on the computer. You can move this folder if you want to. You can even put it on a flash drive and go put it on someone else's computer and run it, as long as they have the DirectX runtimes, which I will explain in a little bit. So either cut or copy this, and I recommend you either put it like on your desktop, or for what I'm going to show you how to do it is to put it directly under your C drive. As you can see, I have 2 other versions of PCSX2 here, so you can run multiple versions of it on the same computer, on the same hard drive even. So paste it over here, and then you're going to want to go into the folder, and this will have all the folders pretty much already set up that you need to do this. Go and click the PCSX2 the application itself. Go into properties, under compatibility, and make sure that it's set to run as administrator. It just seems to be some people have issues with like user account control stuff, and that will take care of that if you do that setting. So yeah, click on that, and it's going to do like a first time configuration sort of thing. So I think I've already done this on this computer before, so it remembers some things. So I'm pretty sure it's going to say, if you're doing this the first time, this is going to be under user documents. Click this over to a custom folder, and this will make it so everything goes right in that one folder that I was discussing earlier. Then hit next. You're going to want to set the instructions for up here to SSE4. That's going to be the fastest instructions you can run for this version of the emulator. Now, it's not doing this on my computer again because I've already set this up, but if you do this the first time and set this to SSE4, it's going to say you need DirectX runtimes updates, and it's going to give you a link to a Microsoft page. Just go to that and download the DirectX runtimes. It's a free download. It's just under 100 megabytes, I think, so it's pretty small. Everything else in here will work. This is showing that I have the Dev 9 gigahertz plugin down here. Don't worry about that. For you guys, it'll just probably say Dev 9 null, and everything else will work. So hit next. Now you're going to need the BIOS for PS2, the PS2 BIOS. As you can see, we don't supply this on our website. It's probably illegal actually if we supply it on our website. So you need to get this off of your PS2 yourself. You're going to need like a free McBoot memory card, which you can find off of eBay, or you can just like ask somebody in the Facebook group to mod your memory card if you want to. I know I've got one. It was pretty easy to do myself actually. But yeah, they have a program on the PCSX2 page for ripping the BIOS off, and the link for that is right here. It's got a little more of an explanation down here of what you can do with how to get the BIOS. One thing I will add is that it is possible to download the BIOS files off of just like a simple Google search. I found them on there, but just keep in mind the legal way to do it is to rip it off of the PS2 itself. So I already have, as you guys saw before, PCSX2 set up newer versions. So I'm just going to copy the BIOS files that I have from my PS2 right into there. Go back to 0.9.7, and the BIOS files go right in that BIOS folder, which that makes a lot of sense. Then go back over here, refresh the list, and there you go. There's my USA 2.2 BIOS. I'm pretty sure using Frontier's disk, you're going to need a USA BIOS, just in case for you European people out there. But everything else, your default settings should work in here, and go to finish. So now you're going to need to get the DVD for EQOA. I've already ripped it on here, but I'm going to show you how to take your DVD and make it into an image file on your computer. So also back on our wiki, go to, I should have stayed on this before, under the overview setup. Do I have it down here? Yep, use image burn to rip the DVD. Just choose any one of these mirrors, download image burn, get that all set up. You're going to want to put the EQOA DVD into the disk tray, run image burn, and then just create an image file from the disk. Just click that. It'll take a couple minutes to run, but you could also just put the DVD directly into the drive itself, but I think it's best to just to copy it over onto your hard drive. First of all, to see if there's any errors on the disk. There could be like scratches messing it up, but also just to prevent some wear and tear on your disk. But then once you get the ISO file in there, go to your ISO selector, go to browse. I've got all my Ps2 games into one folder. Click on your EQOA disk. Keep in mind, if you just rip the disk the way I'm showing you, it's not going to get the DNAS code off of it itself. You're going to have to patch the DNAS on the disk, which is very easy. We've been able to do that no problem. But for the free roam, you don't even need to patch the DNAS, so don't even worry about that for now. But then go over here, boot CD DVD fast. So this is going to start loading up EQOA Frontiers. To get into the game though, you're going to need one of the save states. So go back to our wiki page. I should have stayed there. Go to the save state library page on there. Now I'm going to show you how to set this up with like the ultimate Corsten test menu one. So this has like a developer menu in it that you can like stop the sun from moving. You can stop like the time cycle. It's got a couple other things in there, but it requires a server connection, so a lot of them you can't do anything with. But as far as the free roam save states, this is probably the most complete one to use. It'll take a little bit to download. It's kind of a bigger file. And there we go. Again, show it in your folder. You're going to need to extract this one as well. So extract that. And it's going to leave you with this weird looking file thing here. Cut this. Go back over your seat. Go to your PCSX2 0.9.7. And under S states, that is where your save states go. Just paste that there. The only thing you need to know for this is the last three digits, 002. That is the number save state you're going to be loading. So if you download any of the save states off of our website, they're all going to have different numbers. It's possible to just go in here even and just like go like this and change the number here at the end and make it a different number save state. It'll say it might be unusable, but are you sure you want to change it? Just hit yes. And that'll be save state number 1 now in here. So now this is going to be all ready to load right up into the world. You don't have to go through memory card setup. You don't have to go through any of the load screens at all. Just go right to load state, load slot 1. And there we go. You're going to see Dustin was doing some hacking. He's got guards swimming out here and other weird stuff like that. But you're also going to notice there's no way to move around right now. What you're going to need to do is go into config and set up your controller. So go under controller's pad. go to your plugin settings. I recommend you get something like a plugin sort of controller that works on Windows. I've noticed the Xbox 360 USB controller works perfectly, and there's actually profiles for a lot of games. So make sure you plug that in, hit refresh if you don't see it right away, and then go over to Pad 1. This is where you're going to actually map the controls. So it is possible to do this off of just like a keyboard and map all of these controls onto a keyboard, but as you can imagine, it'd be crazy difficult to run. And something like a 360 controller, you can map all of the buttons in the same exact location. So just like on a 360 controller, it'd be a square would be X, cross would be A, triangle is Y, and circle is B. But then you just keep clicking. You just click here and then push the button that you want to use for it. Analog and mouse, you don't need that. But yeah, go through here and do all of the buttons. Make sure they go through also, 'cause sometimes I notice they don't seem to go through. I have noticed it is possible to set up like if you got a PS3 or PS4 controller, it's possible to get those working in Windows as well. But in the newer versions of Windows, you need like a signed driver to run peripherals, and obviously Sony doesn't supply those. So you're going to need to use programs like map the controls of the PS3 or PS4 controllers if you want to use that. I'm not going to show you how because it's I don't have a PS3 or PS4 controller. So yeah, I recommend you use the Xbox controller for this though. And then go back, and there we go. Look at that. I can run around. I'm using a pretty beastly computer for this. This is like my gaming computer. It's brand new, overclocked. I got $400 graphics card in here. So most of you aren't going to be running full speed or immediately like I am. So I'll give you a little overview of what these numbers at the top mean. FPS is just basically how the speed of the game running. The full speed is 59.94, but it'll hover around 60 basically if it's running at full speed. EE over here stands for Emotion Engine. That is like the main processor chip on the PS2. That's it's a MIPS processor, and that's basically what they're just this program is just converting the MIPS code into something your computer understands. GS stands for I'm not entirely sure, but that's the graphics synthesizer. I think that's just basically the graphics card of the PS2. I've noticed this game has pretty low GS requirements and pretty high EE requirements. So for a lot of people, you need to run speed hacks to get this to run at 60. So you'll want to go into config and go under emulation settings. Over here you have speed hacks. As you can see, I don't have any running, so that would be like that's my computer is able to run this at full speed. It's I mean, it's pretty high requirements. It's a 4.2 gigahertz i5 processor. But I have got this running on like I have an older laptop with an old i5 in it, and this is able to get it to run pretty well. So if you have if you see that the EE is running really high, like 99 or 100, you can set this to reduce the EE cycle. It will reduce compatibility, and it might make the game look a little bit choppy. But if EE is at 100, and that is what's limiting the emulator from running full speed, setting that to 2 will get it to run to full speed. This game also seems to have pretty high VU settings. The VU was like a co-processor on the PS2. There's a VU0 and a VU1. I've noticed setting this to 1 or to 2, especially to 2 on my laptop, gets this to run at full speed. Again, it's going to make it a little bit choppier. But then you also have things in here like enable fast CD/DVD. I haven't noticed any problems with this game with that. It'll make zones load quicker. I wouldn't use either of these two speed hacks though. I haven't noticed any improvements that come with them. But, if you don't need the speed hacks, don't use them. If you need them, use them. Another thing you might have noticed is that we're able to run around in like super speed. There is a setting in this save state itself where you can do that. So as you notice, git start test, that was not there back in the day. What Dustin did is he modded this test menu and he dropped it in place of where the auction menu was before. So if you go to test, there's a lot of stuff in there. This is stuff I'm sure 99.999% of people never saw in this game. But for super speed, run speed, fast run on, you can run around pretty fast. There's another way that you can run around fast too, though, and I'll show you that. Go into config, go to emulation settings. Under GS, you can disable frame limiting. That'll let your processor just run as fast as it possibly can. If you look like directly down or something, you can see my FPS there shoots up crazy high. That'll let you run around really fast. First player seems to have really high, be able to do that really high. Looking up makes it run really high. But yeah, looking around just regularly, it kind of just runs at normal speed like that. The last things I'm going to show you with the emulator is just like teleporting around and stuff. With this save state, he has it set so hit L2, you got the teleport right up there at top. If you're using one of the other save states to teleport, you're going to want to go into support, I think, and help status. Yeah, there you go. And then there's a column and row way of going through just up and down, left and right, of going through Tenaria. And then if you hit circle and box, that cycles through the different planes, different expansion zones and whatnot. So if you go to anything besides Tenaria, it's going to get rid of your character, and you're just going to be like a blank thing. But if you stay in Tenaria, it'll keep the your character. So here, I'll go to Mary Bywater. That was a cool little zone. I always liked that. You'll notice this is going to load a lot faster than it did on your PS2. It still takes a little while, which is pretty surprising because I have the DVD loaded onto an SSD, solid state device, and it's crazy fast. But yeah, there you go. You can run around the map. It's really nice. You can at least go and explore a lot of areas. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the setup. Again, I don't think there's much of a difference between the newer versions of PCSX2 and this version to really go through the different setups. The only thing I've noticed is the first screen just has a little bit different of like a look, but it's all the same options. Just yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy running around through Tenaria.